Manx Radio's Update with Andy Wint.
Faster, my good evening. It's 5:30. This is Update for Friday, 24th of May, 2024 from Manx Radio. 30 minutes looking at the latest news from the island. Background to that news, we've got sport and business, travel updates, and the newsmakers in person this evening. 1,000 public sector houses are needed. A campaign group wants Summerland inquest reopened. Roads closed at 6 as pre-TT gets underway at Balown. Laxey and Ramsey contest the Hospital Cup final at 7 o'clock. And the Manx parliamentarian Eddie Lowey has died at 86.
Man Benham for all your business and legal needs.
First of all, at 29 minutes ahead of 6 o'clock, the Update News headlines. First to my Christian Jones.
First to my. The Attorney General's Chambers has confirmed it will respond in due course after the Justice for Summerland group began legal proceedings in an attempt to challenge the tragedy's inquest verdict. 50 people died in the fire in 1973, but it was ruled as death by misadventure. The inquest into the death of a pilot who crashed his plane into Bradda Head last year has concluded with a verdict of suicide. 64-year-old Carl Bettany from Laxey was flying his Cessna aircraft on the 17th of July when it collided with the cliff face in Port Erin. And former Manx Radio chairman Alan Wilcocks has died at the age of 90. He was one of the broadcaster's first original directors and won the Cleveland Medal 4 times in the 1960s. In international news, Israel has been ordered to immediately stop its military assault in the Gazan city of Rafah by the International Court of Justice. It's unlikely to follow that ruling, though, claiming it has a right to defend itself against Hamas. A mum who caned her 3-year-old son, claiming the Bible advised her to do it, has been jailed for at least 25 years. Christina Robinson shook the toddler to death at their home in Durham in 2022. And more Tory MPs are stepping down at this UK general election than in 1997, when Tony Blair won by a landslide. 76 Conservatives, including Theresa May, Matt Hancock and Sajid Javid, say they won't be contesting their seats on the 4th of July. Those are the Update News headlines, next at 6.
Secure tomorrow today with Man Benham's guidance on powers of attorney and more. Manx Radio weather with Manx Glass and Glazing.
Goromaya, thank you, Christian. From the Ronalds Way Met Office, there's no wind warning in operation for the North Irish Sea. State of sea smooth or slight. And the weather this evening, cloudy and dull in a light breeze. Bright intervals perhaps last thing. It will remain dry after that with clear intervals. Overnight minimum 9 degrees. For tomorrow, Jasan, dry with sunny spells, light winds, and a daylight maximum of 16 degrees. Down to 10 through the night. For Jaduni, rain first thing, then sunny intervals, scattered showers, and 15 degrees. Tide's on the way out, low water 4 minutes past 7. Sunset 29 minutes before 10. High tide 4 minutes before 1 a.m. Sunrise at 1 minute to 5 and low tide 27 minutes past 7 tomorrow morning.
Manx Glass and Glazing are proud to be an approved contractor with Construction Isle of Man. Call the team on 674 573 or visit the showroom on the Snugborough Trading Estate.
The shortage of social housing on the Isle of Man is something that government should be tackling now, according to the chair of the Housing and Communities Board. The recently released Objective Assessment of Housing Need, OANS, report says almost 1,000 more public sector homes are needed to meet the baseline demand until 2041. David Ashford, MHK, now wants to push for a new social housing estate to be built as soon as possible.
That is something that should need to move forward now quite quickly, and it's something certainly as chair of the Housing Communities Board I will be pushing for, because in terms of public sector housing, that is within government's gift. We've got the Housing Association work going on at the moment. We have already public sector housing providers around the island in the forms of the local authorities and several other housing boards, and we need to start engaging with them as a government to say, right, this is what the OHAN says we need, this is where our target needs to be over the next few years. You know, how can we assist you and how can you assist us in ensuring we deliver those targets? and it needs to be collaborative. I need to make that absolutely clear. From my personal point of view, it has to be collaborative with the housing department, with the housing authorities around the island, not government dictating to them or the housing authorities saying we'll go off and do our own thing. We need to work together to ensure that we can deliver for the island as a whole. I know Douglas is very, very keen to engage with government. I've had meetings with Douglas, I've had chats with Douglas around it. Douglas has come up with a actual plan for their housing going forward into the future, which is a very ambitious plan. And I think one of the key things we've got to remember when we talk about housing as well, and this is the important thing that we need to get right, is it does cost money. There needs to be investment. It's not something you can do without investment, and that's always the black cloud hanging over anything, as we know, in this day and age. And if we are serious about housing, we've got to be upfront and say it is going to cost and it is going to require upfront investment.
Tributes are being paid to former Tynwald member Eddie Lowey, who's died at the age of 86. Here's Sean Cowper.
Mr Lowey was first elected as MHK for Rushen at a by-election in 1975 before joining the Legislative Council in 1982. He served in a number of prominent roles, including Home Affairs Minister, Industry Minister and Chairman of the Manx Electricity Authority, before retiring in 2013. Away from politics, he was known for his love of football, with Maloo AFC leading the tributes to him. In a post on Facebook, the club wrote, "Everyone at Maloo AFC is extremely saddened to learn of the passing of club legend Eddie Lowey this week. Eddie covered nearly every role within the club for over half a century and will be remembered by most as the happy, smiling character in the tea hatch on a Saturday. Eddie's generosity to the club and local community was unmatched, and he will be a huge loss to the village, where he would always take time to speak to everyone. In football clubs, people often come and go, but Eddie was one of a kind whose knowledge, kindness and character is irreplaceable." Mr Lowey first stood as a member of the Manx Labour Party. Former MLP leader David Cretney served alongside Mr Lowey in Tynwald and said this weekend the Manx Labour Party AGM takes place, and our incoming chair, Sarah Maltby, one of the many recipients of Eddie's kindness as a little girl, will invite the meeting to remember Eddie and give thanks for his work to help so many for the island he loved. Meanwhile, former Oncan MHK Peter Carron wrote, "Most of the social legislation that's been brought in to protect the working person, Eddie Lowey would be in the vanguard of it, becoming a reality for the protection of the vulnerable in the society. He never forgot his roots, and the island would be a worse place for him not being here."
The only radio station that's Manx, and we're proud of it. Celebrating 60 years, this is Manx Radio.
The final of this year's Hospital Cup competition in Manx football set to take place under the floodlights at the Bowl this evening. Kick-off 7 o'clock. It'll see two informed Premier League sides in Laxey and Ramsey facing off for the silverware, but who's going to secure cup glory later is Manx Radio's football correspondent Tony Mepham.
To pick a winner in this one is going to be really tough because both teams are in good form. Both teams have got players returning back from injury and other things as well, so it's fantastic news for both managers, and it's going to make for a really good game of football. We've moved it to the Friday night because of the English Cup final, so it's going to get great support, I'm sure, and at the moment I'm just hedging my bets a little bit towards Laxey. When you look at sort of Laxey's team at the moment, sort of Jordan Cooper coming back is a massive plus for them. Tina Garvey I think will play, Ryan Gartland will play, Glenn Walker's recovered from that injury that he had earlier on in the season, so it helps, and just George Burrows as well has been in great form, and I think that's what's helping Johnny Palmer's team at the moment, because they've got a bit of quality back in. Adam Meelan's there as well. When you look at players like that on a team sheet, you know you've got a good team. I think Johnny Palmer's problem throughout the season has been having those players available on a consistent basis, and that's why I just think they start off as slight favourites.
And from Ramsey's perspective, a strong season for them this season, finishing third in the Premier League, going far in this competition.
Anthony Cooper, Andy Perry are there as well, who look after things at the first team. Will be very happy with the way things have gone. Dylan Pickles, he's so tricky up front, and then when you look at the players at the back, they've kept things nice and solid. Good goalkeeper in James Rice, and they're looking good. And I've heard a little rumour that a strong rumour that Charlie Higgins will be playing as well, so that's a massive plus for Ramsey if that does happen. Whether it's on the bench or starts, we'll wait and see, but both teams, this means everything to them. End of season, massive cup, because it's a wonderful trophy, the Hospital Cup.
Everything's okay at Ronaldsway tonight, just apart from a couple of delays on the Bristol and Dublin flights. The Justice for Summerland campaign group says it's to take legal action in an attempt to reopen the inquest into the deaths of holidaymakers who died in the tragedy. On the 2nd of August 1973, 50 people were killed, 80 80 were injured when the Summerland leisure complex on Douglas Promenade caught fire. The Isle of Man government says it'd be inappropriate to comment while it's being considered by the Attorney General. Here's Lewis Foster.
Now the campaign group says Phoenix Law has accepted instructions to act for the families of the victims to try and overturn the death by misadventure verdict originally recorded. Human rights lawyers recently secured a new inquest and successfully overturned the verdict in the Stardust fire case to one that concluded that the 48 killed in the Dublin nightclub fire in 1981 were unlawfully killed. Jackie Hallam was just 13 when her mom and best friend died in the blaze. She told Manx Radio how it feels to know their deaths are considered to be as a result of misadventure.
It's quite a distressing verdict, really. I mean, in the early years, we didn't have headspace to process that. You know, you can't imagine what we were dealing with injury and loss and unbearable grief, and there was no time to have any headspace to deal with that. So it was in later years that the enormity of that injustice began to sink in. We took no voluntary risk, and we went into a building that we had a right to expect to be safe, and their deaths were avoidable. They were not due to any voluntary risk taken, so that verdict is really quite distressing. I know that the people in authority now are not responsible, and we've no axe to grind with them at all. But Mr Cannon has publicly said that they need to look this squarely in the face, and we're really grateful for the apology that he gave. But it's now time to face the whole truth of Summerland and the lifelong impact it's had, especially on the bereaved. And I'd like to say to all the members of the House of Keys, please help us. You are not your predecessors. We did no more than visit your lovely island, and I ask you to please respect the Summerland site and respect our need for justice. And please help us right this wrong by allowing us a proper new inquest, because it is in your power.
This is the most listened to Isle of Man news source, and Manx Radio's Update is the Isle of Man's most downloaded news podcast.
Past about 18 minutes before 6. Tonight marks the start of the 2024 Manx road racing season, with the first practice for the 2024 Pre-TT Classic road races on the Balaam course due to take place this evening. How popular is this year's meeting set to be, and what keeps the riders coming back for the Classic racing? Here's Phil Edge from the Southern 100 Club.
Wonderful to see it back again for its 37th year, I think, and we've got a good entry again and some good racing promised. It's on par with last year. Slightly down because one or two riders have gone on to commitments with the TT, which doesn't allow them to be at Balan. One or two others have taken semi-retirement, but it's certainly on par and no room really for expansion of races. So yeah, it's good. Quite a few youngsters, not an old man's sport, which appeared to be at one stage. Elder riders just finishing their careers off. There's lots of youngsters coming through now, and I think we've got something like 18 newcomers this year. It's a programme that's proved popular, so we're continuing with it. We'll be looking at it again at the end of the meeting or shortly afterwards. Most classes are proved popular, some are oversubscribed. That's why we've had to put a consolation race in again. It gives everybody, at least they will get a race if they don't qualify for the main races, which a lot of riders appreciate, considering the cost to get here and their entry fees and everything.
What's the most exciting thing about racing on the Balaam course?
I would think the first impressions are the mass start. You've got 30 riders charging down from the start down towards Ballackagan. That's enough to warm anybody's heart, and you can feel it particularly with the four strokes, the big bikes. You can feel the ground shuddering underneath you with the vibration from them, and it is a magnificent sight and sound. We have the post-classic races. It's allowing more of the more modern Japanese bikes. You've still got the Manx Nortons and the Airmakis and the AJs, and it pleases the elder population, I think, with memories, and I think it enlightens the younger people into how much the machines have advanced over the years.
Manx Radio Business Briefing.
At 16 minutes before 6, the pharmaceutical giant GlaxoSmithKline's won a significant personal injury case in America over its heartburn medicine, Zantac. Angela Valadez, an 89-year-old Illinois resident, claims Zantac caused her colon cancer and wanted $640 million in damages, but a jury determined the medication wasn't responsible. Zantac, the brand name for ranitidine, was popular for treating indigestion and heartburn since since the 1980s. And for a full daily market report, go to ramseycrookall.com. Alibaba has been overtaken. The parent company of the Chinese bargain shopping app Temu became the most valuable Chinese company listed on the New York Stock Exchange in market capitalization. PDD Holdings earnings for March quarter surpassed expectations on the back of strong performance in its online marketing and transaction services. Its sales jumped by 131% to 86.8 billion yuan. That's 11 billion euros, while its net profit increased by 246%. But PDD's chairman, Chen Lei, says fierce competition among Chinese retailers will increase expenses and affect the company's organic growth. Last week, members of the European Consumers Association complained to national authorities that Temu fails to protect customers and uses manipulative practices, violating the EU's Digital Services Act.
The Stock Market Report, brought to you by Ramsey Crookall.
US stocks fell today following yesterday's Wall Street losses. Despite signs of persistent inflation, major US stock indices opened higher. Gold rose today and oil remained stable. The numbers from Ramsey Crookall. At the close in London, the FTSE 100 is down 0.2% at 8,321. The DAX in Frankfurt up 0.07%, 18,703. In New York, the Dow Jones Industrial is up 0.4%, 39,219. The National Association of Securities Dealers Automated Quotations. The Nasdaq is up 1.1%, 16,924, and the S&P 500 in Chicago up almost 0.9% at 5,311. In the exchange markets, the British pound sterling is trading at $1 27.5 cents, €1 17.4 cents, and 23 South African rand 48.5 cents. In commodities, gold's up just over 0.25%, $2,334 per troy ounce, and a barrel of Brent crude up 0.4% at $81.76.
I'm running late again. Do you know where I put my car keys?
In the fridge.
Where's my phone?
Under the dog basket.
Bye.
You haven't forgotten that we're seeing Ramsey Crookall later?
Oh, no, of course not. 5 p.m, is it?
2:45.
I'll be there.
Life is busy. That's why Ramsey Crookall's team takes time to help you make a mindful investment decision, considering all the options, giving you full control of your financial future. Less stress, more assurance.
Forgot to put my shoes on.
See how we can make your money work for you. Call 717171 or visit ramseycrookall.com. Licensed and regulated by the Isle of Man Financial Services Authority.
A pilot who crashed his plane into Bradder Head last year intended to take his own life. Tessa Hawley has this report, which contains information you may find distressing.
The inquest into the death of Carl Bettany was concluded at Douglas Courthouse today. The 64-year-old died on the 17th of July 2023 after his Cessna Centurion collided with the cliff face in Port Erin just before 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The inquest heard the financial advisor who lived in Laxey was likely ejected from his plane on impact and would have died instantly from blast and impact trauma. Eyewitnesses described how they'd seen the light aircraft flying across the bay, noting it was very low in the air. One man told the court, "I thought to myself, is that plane in trouble?" Another recalled how he'd been at the top of Milner Tower when he saw the plane, which had dropped below the level of the tower, travelling straight towards him. The eyewitnesses all described hearing a loud bang before seeing a fireball, followed by black smoke. Evidence from the Air Accidents Investigation Branch, which recovered the plane, showed there was no evidence of any pre-accident disruption and there'd been no technical failures. The AAIB said data showed Mr. Bettany had been in control as he flew straight towards the cliff and would have known the collision was inevitable. The court also heard the pilot had been experiencing anxiety and depression in the weeks before his death following a family bereavement and had sought help from the crisis referral team. Recording a verdict of suicide, Coroner James Brooks said there was much in Carl's mind that would have concerned him, adding the deceased's intention at the time was to end his own life.
Manx Radio Sport.
Fast am I, Rob Pritchard.
Fast am I. Good evening. Starting with football, and FC Isle of Man is on the hunt for potential players who could join its setup ahead of the upcoming new season. The club will hold 2 open training sessions at the Bowl in Douglas on Tuesday the 11th of June and Thursday the 13th of June for prospective players aged 16 to 26. It's part of the Ravens' pre-season plans ahead of the 24-25 NWCFL Premier Division campaign, expected to get underway in a few months' time. Among those who came through the last player identification programme 12 months ago were Ethan Hawley and Harley Jackson, who both went on to debut for the side in the latest season, which finished last month. Those interested in taking part in the player identification sessions can apply and find details via the FC Isle of Man Club website. In athletics, the 2024 edition of a gruelling walking challenge on Ireland later this year is already seeing soaring demand from people to take part. Organisers of the MFX End-to-End Walk, taking place on Sunday the 15th of September, say entry levels are already 3 times higher than the number reached at this stage last year. The race sees athletes navigate a 39.22 mile route starting up north at the Point of Ayre and finishing at the Sound at the southern tip of the island. Race Secretary Tony McIntosh says if they can exceed last year's turnout of nearly 300 competitors, it will be considered a great target to reach. Race coordinators, the Isle of Man Veteran Athletes Club, are particularly keen to attract younger walkers for the under-20s race, which covers a slightly shorter 22.16 mile course, which also starts at the Point of Ayre but finishes in Peel. The closing date for entries is on Sunday the 1st of September. And in cycling, Max Walker and the Astana Kazakhstan development team have secured another strong finish in Stage 6 of the Tour of Japan. Whilst Walker himself finished the mountainous stage just over 11 minutes behind the stage winner, his teammate Nicholas Vinokurov managed the squad's highest placing of 5th. It's already been a positive outing for Walker at the Tour, who finished 1st and 2nd on the 1st and 2nd stages respectively.
Manx Radio Travel, driven by Quayside Tyres and Service Centre.
Inbound at Ronaldsway, the Emerald Air 5 to 4 from Dublin won't be in until about 6:45 this evening. Elsewhere inbound, the 6:30 EasyJet from Manchester, 7:25 Loganair from Edinburgh, 20 to 8 EasyJet from Gatwick, 5 to 8 Loganair returning patient transfer from Liverpool, and the 10 to 9 Loganair from London City, all looking on time this evening. So outbound, the 4:20 Emerald Air to Dublin won't be leaving until 7:10, but before then, 6 o'clock Loganair to Liverpool, 6 o'clock EasyJet to Liverpool, the 7 o'clock EasyJet to Manchester, the 5 to 8 Loganair to Edinburgh, and the 8 EasyJet to London Gatwick. Emergency lights for emergency gas main repairs still at Rosemount Junction in Douglas. Hillside Avenue to Circular Roads closed for adjacent office window replacement, and part of Switzerland Roads closed for construction work till November. Lights on Vicarage Road, Braddon at Stevenson's Way roundabout, and lights on Belafton Manor Hill near Coolferran Junction. Phase closures for water main work at Ballakilferrick Road, Colby, Starvey Road, and also Kindrockard Road in Andreas. So the pre-TT races get underway at Bilown. Bilown's going to be closed, the circuit that is, from 6 till 9:40 tonight. From midday 30 to 4:30 tomorrow, 6 to 9 p.m. tomorrow, and 1 till 6 on Sunday. Remember, the mountain road is one way from Ramsey Hairpin to the Craig in the direction of the course until Tuesday the 11th, and cycling is now prohibited on the mountain road for the period of the TT.
Ask how you can spread the cost interest-free at Quayside.
Tributes are being paid to Alan Wilcocks, a former chairman of Manx Radio who's passed away at the age of 90. He's also been described as a leading light for the Guild and was one of the judges of the Eisteddfod, a traditional event which celebrates Manx culture, which he was speaking about back in 2019.
And I'm not so sure there'll be many other places in the British Isles that can do what happens up here. Nobody knows who's coming. Nobody knows what they're going to do. Wendy will be at the piano, and luckily we've got people of the talent of Wendy who'll play no matter what you put in front of her. She'll play it. And people will produce music from all sorts of places. They'll tell all sorts of stories, some probably not fit to be told. But it's just one of those wonderful, how shall we put it, Manx nights.
And how long have you been involved with this for?
Oh dear, what a question to ask. I tried to work it out, funnily enough, this morning, and I've come to the conclusion that I first came up here to adjudicate round about 1970. I maybe before that, but I'm not too sure. I've done most years. There are 1 or 2 years, obviously, I haven't done, but for various reasons. But nearly every year since.
To stand out to you then, Alan, what does somebody need to do?
They need to do their best. They need to come up here, do what they can. This is the best best of their ability to entertain the public, right, and to enjoy themselves. Music is one of these things where if you don't, you're not here to educate anybody. You're here to entertain the public, and you're here to give them a good time. And if the public enjoy it, or the audience enjoy it, it's been a good night.
This is the most listened to Isle of Man news source, and Manx Radio's Update is the Isle of Man's most downloaded news podcast.
Latest on the boats. Manxman is back in Douglas. She arrived at 6:10 about 5 minutes ago. She'll be out this evening at 7:45, arriving in Heysham at 11:30. The overnight departure 2:15, back to Douglas at 6:15. Manannan is in the Mersey at the moment. Will be tying up by the pierhead in about 10-15 minutes or so, leaving at 7:45, back here at 10:30 tonight. Tomorrow morning's departures, the fast craft Manannan leaves at 7:15 for Liverpool. Manxman heads at 8:45 to Heysham. The first of Peel's Tesco stores has officially opened today. The Express store on Michael Street is its fifth ShopRite to be rebranded as the supermarket giant continues its takeover. Store director Andy Sanderson.
Peel's a great town, really important to us. Great beach, home of Davison ice cream, we shouldn't forget. The store's taken a bit of time to get ready. It's obviously quite an old building, but we're really looking forward to it opening on Friday, so it should be great for the customers. We've definitely got more shelving into the store. We've got more range. We've got a lot more on things like Finest Meal Deal. We've got a little bit of non-food in the store. We're going to have a small amount of basics in terms of socks and sort of tights for men and women, a good range of groceries and the core offers that we'd want to do, as well as a bit of a better checkout configuration, in-store bakery, which is new to the store, and also all of the commitments we've made to local products that we've got in all our other shops. Lots of customers have raised the point around getting cash in Peel and ATMs. What we've been able to do is activate cash back in this store on the tills where colleagues would be serving and taking cash, so we can give up to £50 cash back if customers do need some cash until we get an ATM in the big store in later in the summer. We're really pleased now. That's 5 stores converted from January, so we're going at a pace. Rightly so, need to pause over the TT, and then after the TT we close the large stores in Ramsey, Peel, Onken and the Wainwright store by the end of June, and then start reopening those stores from kind of early to mid-August, and then hopefully have them all done sort of early, middle of September. It's really rewarding kind of seeing customers in these towns and as they come into the stores, and hopefully giving them a great shopping experience and listening to the things that they need, and that's given us loads of energy. But yeah, we're going at quite a pace to get these all converted, so yeah.
That's it for Update tonight, compiled from the resources of Manx Radio's news department. After the news at 6, Greatest Hits is on with Chris Pearson. Sweet and Swing with Howie Kane at 9 o'clock. And Update returns after the long bank holiday weekend on Tuesday at 5:30.
WINT